Hi, it's Tracy from Two Tarot with this week's tarot tips and tricks. And today I'm going to be talking about can you read with novelty decks? And the short answer is yes. But we were going to actually take a look at it. So before me, I've got two different Rider-Waite ones. So this is from the Golden Art Nouveau, an absolute stunning deck. And this one here is from the Hanson Roberts. So they're the Six of Cups. And as you can see, the Hanson Roberts is a little bit of a more of a sweet type of a deck. So this is what, what a normal, I suppose, tarot cards look like. And by normal, I mean just the Rider-Waite deck. I mean, there's thousands of different types of decks out there. So I just wanted to show that. Now, if you're looking at novelty decks, I've got a couple here to show you. So this one is the TaRat. Okay, so this is what you would call a novelty deck. So it's all based on a rat, but this deck gives absolutely amazing readings. It truly, truly does. So that's one of them. I've also got this particular deck, the Isabel Snail Tarot. This is what you would class as a novelty deck, and this looks very, very sweet, doesn't it? But it is an absolutely tell you like it is deck. It truly, truly is. It absolutely really is a very hard-hitting deck, as is the TaRat, believe it or not. So no matter how sweet they look, they are very, very hard-hitting decks. I'm only going to show you a few because I have got quite a few, I suppose, what you would call novelty decks. This one here, a lot of you will be familiar with, is the Housewives Tarot. Now, this deck is a very sassy deck. It likes to tell you off. It really is another one that tells you like it is, but it's in a very sarcastic, smart-ass way. So this is what you would class again as like a novelty type of deck, purely because it doesn't, it hasn't got the traditional type of images. That's why they're called novelty decks. Now, of course, probably the most famous novelty deck that I have got, which I haven't read with for a while, is the Twisted Tarot Tales deck here. This is based on horror themes. It's an uncanny deck, actually. It works really, really well in readings. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be doing a serious spread with the Twisted Tarot Tales, because it's all very well for me to tell you that, yes, you can read with novelty decks, but if you don't actually see it in action, excuse me, you won't know exactly how they work. Okay, excuse me again. I've just did a live today and my voice has petted out. So what I'm going to be doing is quite a serious spread with a novelty deck. So I'm going to be doing the Spiritual Breakthrough, which is a lovely spread by Emerald Lotus Divination over on Instagram. As you know, I've used many of her spreads, but I thought that it would be actually good to see a novelty deck in action to see just how they can be used in a serious type of situation. So the first position here is where my inner compass is guiding me right now. So that's the Nine of Wands. So this one is the scene that is depicted here is from Salem's Lot, when his brother comes and tries to get him to come out and join him. So that's the Nine of Wands. So what's that telling me there? So, of course, we can see that the image, this is where my inner compass is guiding me right now. It looks like, because the way this is crossed over, that I am resisting some type of change, okay? I don't really want to open up that window and let this particular person in to see what changes it's going to bring. Now, as it's my inner compass, I'm not trusting what my compass is telling me, okay? So I've made a boogeyman, if you will, out of my fears, all right? So I'm scared to try different things because it literally has become like a boogeyman. I'm thinking that if I do follow it and I let my inner compass guide me, that it's literally going to suck the life out of me. So that's right now is where it is at, okay? So I'm a bit afraid to let these changes come through. Now, another thing that strikes me with this too is the fangs as well. Okay, so, you know, what's draining me? And the thing is, and I actually can tell you what's draining me. I've been having really, really weird dreams. So obviously my dreams are trying to tell me something. And when I wake up, you know, I'm terribly, terribly drained. So, you know, that's another thing that stands out for me as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose... ask the same question, but I'm going to use Isabel Snail, just so you can see how they might marry up. All right, so let's have a look. I'll use the Isabel Snail and the TaRat. I won't use the Twisted Tarot, so I'll pop that to this. I'm not the twist, sorry, the Housewives Tarot, because I really want to just show like how a completely novel deck can answer, you know, how can work with it. So I'll ask the same question. Where's my inner compass guiding me right now? So this one has turned up. And this one is a, the Cups card. What's that? It's a bit hard to tell. Oh, the Eight of Cups. See, you can see this is anything with this deck. There's the 8 up there. At first, I've got the 8 of Cups in this one. And now I'm going to pull one from the TaRat. Where is my inner compass guiding? Oh, that one turned right up. And then we've got the King of Wands here. Okay. So we've got 3 different, very, very different cards answering the same question, all right? So, of course, with the 8 of Cups, it looks like that there was a wish of mine that hasn't been granted because it's in black. You can see it's coloured in. It's not the gold star that we often, you know, that we think of when we think of the star and wishes being granted and etc., etc. So the 8 of Cups means that I've had to leave something behind. I've come down these stairs, my eyes are crossed, and I suppose what it's telling me is that I'm focused on my past mistakes. I'm focused on my past, what I perceive as not doing things the way I wanted to, sort of thing, you know, things that haven't worked out, on dreams that haven't panned out and so forth. But this is supposed to be my inner guidance as well. So my inner compass, I'm sorry. So it's really telling me that I shouldn't focus on what hasn't come true for me. And then if you're looking at the King of Wands, it's looking straight at these 3 cards. And even though it's the same question for each card, my inner compass is telling me that I've got to trust myself. I've got the rat's hands are resting lightly upon the wand. And these little duvalakis here, I tell you, they always mean something. And what that kind of looks like there, it kind of looks like a face, doesn't it? And if you look at this line in the wood here, it looks like one of them faces, you know, that's not happy. So sure, I can look back at what I've done and not be happy. I can be afraid to follow my inner compass. But this is telling me that I should only look forward as well. So to answer where my inner compass is guiding me right now is to the future. I mean, if this was turned around, you know, looking towards the back, but it's not. It's facing the future. I always look at facing the right as facing the future. So I need to look at the past mistakes I've done and not be afraid to let my inner compass guide me. So this is how a novelty deck works. But I wanted to use 3 different cards just so you can see how how it all pans out. So what I might do, because I might take a photo of that later, so I'll turn them all around so they come the right way around. So the second question is something my intuition is trying to tell me. Oh, look at that, the 10 of Swords. Okay, the 10 of Swords. What am I not looking at? What draws me like is blindfolded, and he's thrown a knife and it's landed in her throat. What my intuition is trying to tell me is that I'm too scared to speak my truth. I'm not revealing what I'm thinking. I'm keeping things repressed. I need to take the blindfold off and really look and listen to what my intuition is trying to, and not to believe that I'm a target of some sort. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is really interesting card to actually pull up. But this is how you go about with a novelty deck. You pick bits and pieces of what it's trying to tell you, and you put the whole story together. So I'm afraid to speak my truth. I'm afraid maybe perhaps that I'll be ridiculed for it, that I'll become a target for it, and that I need to take my blindfold off and see it for what it is, what it really is, what my intuition is really trying to tell me. So now let's ask Isabel Snail, what is my intuition trying to tell me? No, I only want one card. I've got 3 cards there. Okay, so it's really trying to tell me something today. All right, this one's popped up. And we have got the 3 of Wands. So that's saying to trust in a new direction. This harness here is what's on the Chariot. Okay, and there's a whip there as well. So this is part of the Chariot card. So if you're looking at this, it's looking up. So really this is telling me not to beat myself up from past paths that I have taken. I did the best that I could with the knowledge that I had. You know, this is my intuition talking to me. An interesting thing is quite funny as well. I've just recently brought some house plants that look very much like this. I haven't had house plants for 25 years. The first 22 being because my cat was alive, and she used to love to rip them to pieces and do things in them that you shouldn't. And I mean, throw them right across the other side of the room. So I stopped having plants in the house, and it was only when my stepdaughter started showing some plants that she'd put in her place, and I thought, well, why don't I get some more? I don't have my cat, unfortunately, anymore to rip out these plants. So, that's another intuition. This is something that I listen to, and I don't know, it's brought a very beautiful calm to my to the house. I've actually got a piece of it on my reading table here that broke off, that I'm going to grow and propagate and plant in another pot. So my intuition is trying to tell me that, not to beat myself up on past decisions that I've made. Don't look towards the past, not whip myself up into a frenzy, and the right path will become clear. My intuition will tell me what to do if only I cast my eyes down and look ahead. So now we're going to have a look at what the TaRat's going to say. That one popped right up. And this is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, I always used to associate myself with the Queen of Cups. But I don't anymore. I feel like I'm more of a Queen of Swords. I've come into my own. I've changed a great deal from who I used to be in the past. Very depressed, downtrodden, doormat type of a person, never stood up for myself. I'm not like that now. And what strikes me the most is this Queen of Cups is looking just past her cup to the past, because it's to the left. And so this is what my intuition again is telling me, not to look at the past of what I've done. Can you see how they're all marrying together? They're 3 very, very different novelty type decks, but they are giving me the message that I need to hear. So yes, definitely. And can you see the grey, all the very black crowds on there? Even the ground is not very stable, and I never used to be emotionally. I was quite unstable because I suffered from depression for many, many years. And of course, that's why I've made some decisions that I shouldn't have, but that's not my fault. So I should have to stop looking at what I did in the past and trust my intuition to lead me into the future, So that's that one there. And now the third question is, what changes in my life are begging to occur? Well, will you look at that? Death. So this tells me a couple of things, actually, besides being we do all know that death is transformation, and how it can come very unexpected. And you can see the surprise on her face when death comes knocking at her door, because let's face it, life is short. And this is the main message, is that life is short. If we add the 13, it becomes a 4, which is stability. So these changes that need to occur in my life will bring stability. But what strikes me the most about this is the actual pumpkin. So I'm thinking in October the 31st, some type of light and some type of change will illuminate in my life. Now, October the 31st this year is going to be the 1st year anniversary of Oscar, my dog, who passed away. So that's going to be an emotional time, and of course I will be thinking about him. But I also know that I'm going to get a sign, because there's letters. Okay, there's letters in there, and I get signs from him all the time that he's around us. Beautiful, beautiful signs. So what this is telling me, what changes in my life are begging to occur, is that as surprising as they may be, it's going to be really good for me, and that I shouldn't fear change. That I'll be okay, I'm going to be all right. And even the child, being a small child, I was really hard on myself when I was young, really, really hard on myself. And when I look more at that face, it looks like it's yelling. And I think I need to stop telling myself off, stop yelling at my younger self in my mind. I did what I did, I can't change it, and just to accept change, you know. But I do feel that the 31st of October is going to have some type of significance for me in some way, some type of change is going to occur. And if it's begging to occur, it looks like I've got to really look at things, you know, really, really look at things. So let's have a look at what the Isabel Snail deck is going to tell me. What changes in my life are begging to occur? So the Isabel Snail Tarot is a deck that of the same creator, Beth Sillerman, from the Guardian Tarot. I've got the Three of Cups for what changes are begging to occur. Now, what strikes me the most about this is that the snail is actually, we only see the back of it. We see the turbulent sea, and we see some cups are kind of overflowing. Now, the Three of Cups is usually, of course, is one of joy, is one of going out. And just going out is really hard for me because I actually live by the seaside, but yet I don't go to the sea very often. I'm not a beach person, where my husband is. And we used to love to take Oscar down to the beach before he went blind. He absolutely loved it. And of course, when he lost his sight, it used to scare him to death. So we stopped taking him there. He couldn't see, you know. So what this is telling me about begging to occur, to change that's begging to occur, is that I need literally to go out more. I need to get out more. I need to, even if it's just going to the pub that my husband loves to go to, I really struggle going out more. The older I get, the more I don't want to go out, you know. I've always been a homebody, but it's becoming a bit of a negative thing in my life. I need to do something, but I'm not really sure what. So maybe Halloween will literally throw some light on what it is that I need to do. So and I'm very struck how these look like jewels and ribbons and everything like that. So today, you know, I did actually do a live on some crystal scrying, and I really loved it. I really enjoyed it, and you know, all the community came together. So maybe I should look at doing more lives and things like that to bring about the change that needs to occur in my life. So now let's have a look at, and it wasn't as bad as I thought, you know, because when I do go out, I do enjoy myself, but I really struggle. So that's interesting. So let's ask the TaRat now. Okay, what changes in my life are begging to occur? So this one popped right up, and there we go. And this is the Four of Wands. Okay. And of course, you know, it's a card of stability, but what really strikes me is that I need to, these look like thinking dots now. I need to think outside the square to bring the changes that need to occur in my life. I know I'm stable, I'm happy, I've got everything that I need, but obviously there is something I'm feeling on the spiritual side that's been trying to get through, but I've blocked it off. So I need to think outside of the square. All right. So I hope this sort of describes about how you can read with Novelty Decks, and you can still have deep, meaningful readings. And I thought the best thing to do was to do a serious spread. So the fourth question is, how can I trigger a spiritual breakthrough? I didn't even hardly had to shift. This is interesting. Hardly had to shuffle that, and this is what's come through. How do I trigger? This is the Seven of Wands. This is a werewolf that is starting to, you know, that's transformed. Everyone's, you know, beating him up or trying to beat him up. We've got a snake that's coming through. That's along his jacket sleeve there. Glowing red eyes. The snake's there. So it must be gang members. He must be a gang member because he's got the same snake emblem on him. So all of them have got snakes, but they're all different. This one is on his sleeve. This one's on the front. This is the sleeve and the back. And this one looks like on the other side of his arm. So what this is telling me is that snakes are about transformation. So of course, you know, it's about that I'm going through a transformation and how I can trigger a spiritual breakthrough. I need to let my wolf out. I need to let my intuition out more. I need to, because the Seven of Wands is often a card that comes up when you're about to give up and then something happens, you know, something good happens. So I need to stop struggling against the change that wants to happen in my life. I need to just let go, pretty much like this werewolf has, you know. And I just want to look at the images more. I have to stop fighting with myself, sort of thing. I just need to let go. So that's quite an interesting card, isn't it? And let's have a look with the Isabel Snail. How can I trigger a spiritual breakthrough? And the Page of Cups is an adorable one. This one, look, the snail looking right at the fish. They're both smiling at each other. Follow my heart. Follow my heart. I can't tell you how much I have been told that particular in words, follow my heart, them 3 words, and how much it can change you. So I'll share something a little bit personal here. So when I met my second husband, I just came out of a abusive relationship, and I nearly called off our wedding. We met and married within 6 weeks, and we're coming up to 17 years of being married together, but I actually called it off because I got cold feet. And the thing that my husband said to me, he said to me, follow your heart. What does your heart tell you? And my heart was telling me that he was the right one for me, but I got cold feet, literally. And, you know, and funny enough, because I'm attracted to this cup, it all started for him inviting me in for a cup of coffee when I dropped off my youngest daughter to play with his youngest daughter. And I had a cup of coffee with him, and yeah, and things just was, you know, it was a whirlwind romance. So every time I'm in doubt about something, I always say to myself that I've got to follow my heart. And that was the best thing I ever did, that I followed my heart. I listened to myself and said, he's a great guy. And I've never been so bloody happy in my life. And he's changed me immensely. Like I said before, I used to be a bit of a doormat. I let people walk all over me, treat me like shit. I don't do that anymore. I stand up for myself. And the Page of Cups is here about triggering a breakthrough is by following my heart, literally. Okay, so let's have a look at what the TaRat says. How can I trigger a spiritual breakthrough? This one popped right up. And then this is the Two of Pentacles here. It's quite gorgeous, isn't it? So there's nothing juggling, you know. He's not juggling like you usually see in the Two of Pentacles, do you? They're just behind him. He's just got his, you know, he's just walking towards the future. So this is telling me that I don't have to juggle anything anymore. You know, I don't work outside. You know, I just work from home with my tarot readings. So I haven't got a mainstream job. I've got a lot of time on my hands to do what I want. So what's stopping me? What's stopping me? So this is saying, how can I trigger it? I just need to let things that happened in the past go and walk towards the future. Take that first step to following my heart and not fight with myself. You know, because these people don't have to be actual people. They can be the voices in your head that say, oh, you know, you're never going to get anywhere. Who do you think you are? You know, that type of thing. So there you go. So now the next question is, so there's only another 3 more, is what this breakthrough will look like. So oops. And this is the Five of Pentacles. This is quite interesting, isn't it? I quite like this depiction of the Five of Pentacles. We've got some zombie priest and a nun eating brains. And, you know, sometimes the oppression of the... I think this speaks really very strongly to those of you who have been brought up oppressively with religion shoved down their throat, literally, which never happened to me. I was lucky that I found my own spiritual path because my parents had nothing whatsoever to do with the church. So I found myself, you know, my pagan path. I found myself, everything's on my own. But this is, what will this breakthrough look like? So it looks like that just when I am ready to give up, you know, when I think that all avenues are closed, like this closed book, something's literally going to drop off. His hand has dropped off, and because these are two, there's a red eye and a blue eye. When there's a red, I think that my eye will open up in some way. I feel like that the red eye is how you can close yourself off, and the blue one is speaking your truth, you know, seeing things for what they really are. So what this breakthrough will look like is that I might actually become to a very spiritually low place, but I'm really attracted to all the gold, all the lights. Again, I kind of feel like around October time, something is going to be illuminated in my life. And I'm also attracted, it almost looks like something is streaming out. So can you see the stream, the white sort of a stream? I feel like maybe, because you know I do spiritual messages. I haven't done spirit messages much this year because I think with everything that's happening in the world, it's not the right time. And I haven't honestly felt like doing them. They always come to me when it's the right time, and it's not the right time. So it's just something I'm going to probably have to ponder on a bit more, but it looks like that I'm going to come to a low point, but something will be illuminated for me. Let's have a look at the Isabel Snail. What will this breakthrough look like? No, that's not the right one either. That one is. The Seven of Pentacles. So we've gone from a 5 to a 7. And this is this card always makes me feel a little bit warm and fuzzy, actually. And I'll tell you why. When my dog died, and I asked how he was, you know, is he okay, you know, that sort of thing there. And I got this card. And of course, he went blind, you know, despite us spending $6,500 on operation. Both his retinas detached. He had a couple of months of seeing and went really, really happy. And then he went blind again and got really, really depressed, and then got sick, and then ended up having a stroke and passing away. So when I asked this question and I saw that, I thought, he's sitting there taking in the view. He's on the other side looking at everything that he'd missed out on, you know, because when we think about it now, there was quite a few other, you know, that his blindness struck really, really quickly. And how we sort of noticed that we were playing a ball with him, and he ran straight into my shin. Now, he was a strong, heavy little dog, all 12 kilos of him, nearly knocked me over. And we both looked at each other, my husband and I, said, how did he not see me, you know? So when I got this card, and I saw it, and I thought, he's taking in the view. He's sitting there. He's taking in the view. He's looking at all the things that he couldn't see on this side of the veil. He's looking. He's enjoying himself. So for me, is what will the breakthrough look like? Is that I'm going to see how far that I've come. I'm going to see that the things that I started, perhaps in different lifetimes, perhaps deep in the past, in my childhood, come to fruition. I'm going to see the path that I've walked and where it has led me to in the now. So even though, you know, we've had this one first where it seems to hint that I'm going to become at a spiritual low, the illumination will come, and this is nice to actually see this card. This actually makes me feel really, really good. So let's ask at the TaRat, what will this spiritual breakthrough? That one just fell right out. Six of Swords. So it's an interesting Six of Swords, isn't it? Because there's no boat, there's no nothing. And, you know, he's holding a sword in each hand and one in his tail. So this says that, and because it's looking towards the past, this says that I'm going to learn. I'm moving on from the past. Because if you look at this, we've got 5, 7, and 6. 6, 7, 5. You know, it's kind of, you know, or 5, 6, and 7. That's what I was really trying to say. Gosh, sorry, it's been a long day today. So this is telling me, you know, I'm not to look at the past. And it's kind of hard to see, but it almost looks like he's got a monocle on his eye there, you know, almost like a monocle. Could be a whisker, but I don't think it is. So, he's looking through. I'm not going to be so one-eyed about who I was in the past and what I am now, and to hold in my dreams, hold them, because I've got the star in between the sword there, to hold on to my dreams, and then I will be able to move on. So what it's going to look like for me, it does really look like I'm going to get at a low point, and then I'm going to realize what I've done and how far I've come. and what I've left into the past, and it's just going to be, you know, the only way is up now, no longer downhill sort of thing. Yeah, that's what I feel like it's going to be like. All right. So now what do we got? A lesson that will accompany the breakthrough. So let's have a look. A lesson that will accompany the breakthrough. The Ace of Swords. So we have a bloody surgeon with a knife. The Ace of Swords. This tells me actually quite a lot. All the shit that I used to put my through, all the negative thoughts that I have that left me feeling bloody and bruised are going to be gone. I'm only going to be thinking clearly now. I'm no longer going to be focused on what's gone on in the past in my life and the pain and everything like that, which I mean, to be honest, I don't focus on that much. I mean, every now and again I might think of things, but I pretty much look on the sunny side of life now, as you can see on the tip. So the lesson that will accompany it is that I'm really going to be thinking clearly now. That's the lesson, that I'm going to be able to think clearly now. And anyone who's suffered from depression will know just how much of a gift that is, to be able to think clearly. So let's ask the Isabel Snail, a lesson that will accompany this breakthrough. And this is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords. Now, what I'm attracted to the most in that is these paths here. It's kind of like the Three of Wands that we had before about choosing the right one. So the Page of Thorns is the Page of Swords. So we've got an Ace of Swords. We've got a Page of Swords as well. So I think that I might also get some type of physical type of news, like coming from the air. So something on the internet. So whether an email lands into my email box and offers some type of a course or something that I might be interested in doing, or something like that. But I feel like news from the air. But I'm also attracted to the point, and this is wobbling a bit and it's pointing up to the sky. I also feel that spiritual messages are going to be coming much more clearer, because it's you know, a bit darker on the tip and becomes quite golden up here onto what I'm sitting on. And then we've got the red here, the passion. We've got the red path in that, like the water that looks red. So I also feel like that some type of spiritual path will open towards me, and it'll be a great lesson that I will learn. And now let's ask the TaRat, a lesson that will accompany this breakthrough. That one popped right up. And this is the Eight of Swords. Brilliant. I'm no longer going to feel, not that I feel trapped, but you know, we all ask ourselves, you know, is this all there is to life? You know, shouldn't I be doing more, etc., etc.? It looks like that I am not going to be focusing so much on that. So this is interesting, because they're all sword cards on a lesson that's that will accompany the breakthrough. So it looks like it's all mentally. It looks like that mentally is going to really open up for me as well, you know. I'm no longer going to think the grass is greener on the other side, that where I am is quite green, you know. I'm not fading away. I'm still sitting on some lush grass. But yeah, that's what it looks like, that my mind is going to open up in some way. And that would be a really good lesson to get. So the final question is, how can I best serve my highest good? So how can I best serve my highest good? Let's see. So that is the Two of Wands. Two of Wands. And so I quite like this depiction. So we've got a grandmother there, really in control of all of the zombies. So how can I best serve my highest good is to clear my mind and think clearly, and to know that whatever direction I take, the first one, the second one, will be the right path for me. So it's an interesting depiction, isn't it? How can I best serve my highest good is to not listen to the riffraff, to trust in myself. And I mean, you know, the older we get, the more we do trust in ourselves, or hopefully we should anyway. So let's have a look. How can I best serve my highest good? What does Isabel Snail tell me? This is the Fool card. And this is kind of interesting too, because what really stuck out to me is love and peace. There hasn't been much love and peace in the world lately, has it? It really, really hasn't. And I think I might have to believe in that a little bit more, in love and peace. And it's interesting because we've got part of the American flag here too. Now I live in Australia, but how much fighting and mayhem has gone on with the Black Lives Matters. You know, people are protesting, demanding for change, but still terrible things are happening. And it's really hard for me to believe that there is love and peace in the world. And it's interesting that the love is all jumbled up, yet the peace is quite, you know, you can see that quite a lot. So I think I need to believe in it a bit more to serve my highest good. I need to believe that a fresh start can come. I need to believe that just that, I suppose not to feel foolish, you know, that change can happen. Change can happen and we can all do it. I mean, and even the internet, you know, it looks like much like my iMac. I mean, I live in Australia, but God, I can't tell you how many petitions that I sign for change and you know, and to help people and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, it's an interesting card to come up, isn't it? How can I best serve my highest good is to think of new things, think of and not be afraid to take a step off that cliff, even though there's no cliffs there, but this little snail's coming close to the edge. So let's have a look what the TaRat will say. How can I best serve my highest good? There we go. Oops, no, that wasn't right. A whole heap of them come on. How can I best? That's it. And this is the Knight of Wands. I've got to pursue my passions, don't I? I've got to really, once I decide exactly what direction I'm going to, what step I'm going to take, I'm going to step off the cliff, sail down the cliff, whatever I'm going to do, is to really not be afraid. And again, even though this duck seems to be looking right at me, the rat is looking exactly where he's going, even though I consider going to the left, the path, but I think this is more that I've faced my paths. I've put up a barrier that I'm not going to listen to anymore, and I'm turning around, because if you look at it, it's going to be turning around and going towards the future. So how can I best serve my highest good is just looking towards the future and not looking towards the past, looking towards the future and changing what I can, not looking at what I can't change in the past. So there you have it. There is how you read with Novelty Decks. You can get a lot out of Novelty Decks. You truly, truly can. You know, there's so many out there. I have got a few more. I've got Halloween Tarot. I mean, even the Hush Tarot by Jeremy Rush. Even that is I suppose you would call a novelty deck because of the artwork in it. This is what the Twisted Tarot looks like from behind. The Isabel Snail has got all of the little snails on it. And that one's the TaRat there. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope that's helped help you see how you can read with a novelty deck and the things that you pick out. It's basically whatever draws your eye first, you know, look at that. So, you know, let's just, for instance, we'll turn this over. So the first thing that stands out for me is the knife, you know. Then you might notice the case, then the blood, you know. Do all that sort of thing, pick it all out, what picks out for you. Actually, that's upside down. and then marry it all up together. What does the whole picture take? So take little bits and pieces and then see what the whole lot will tell you in the end. So until next time, this is Tracy. Please press like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I shall talk to you all very soon in the next video. Take care, everyone.